know we're all aware again of another mass shooting in, I think, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Of course, we're aware, we hear every day, especially in inner city areas, they're shooting in gangs and people going after one another. Obviously, an epidemic with no easy answers and a lot of differences. A couple things coming from the scripture readings today. One of the things we hear, and there is an issue, obviously, with the whole reality of emotional health, and that's important to look at. What strikes me, and this isn't the panacea, this isn't the easy answer, but it is something to reflect upon. Everybody, or so many people, talk about emotional health and mental health and need to talk about that. But it's interesting that hardly anybody here in the media, at least the regular media, talks about spiritual health. And that doesn't mean if we just say everybody love Jesus, it's all going to be wonderful. No. But it does mean there's a spiritual issue in our country, again, in a lot of areas, in terms of really being centered in the Lord. And as I said, this doesn't mean if we just start praying tomorrow, it's all going to go away. But it does mean if there were a genuine spiritual conversion deep within the hearts of all people, and especially people who claim to be Christian, that's over 70% of the population, might there be a difference? And we see a couple of examples of this even in the readings today. That first reading from the apostles, as Paul is eventually going to go to Rome. That's where he sees his death. But we see one more time he's on trial, and he's got a certain talk about spiritual wisdom, because he knows the Pharisees believe in the resurrection, the Sadducees don't. He's speaking about the resurrection of Jesus, so he gets it to where the Pharisees who believe in resurrection go against the Sadducees, and they have a big fight. And of course, in this case, he's the one who gains from that because he's let go. But a reminder that here again, we see the reality of then and even now, religion can be divided. In Paul's behalf, the Lord's behalf, he took advantage of that. But he also knew the Lord was sending him to Rome. And in Rome is where he would eventually be put to death, where he would be beheaded. But he went there. And there you talk about St. Paul, all as we're concluding these readings from Acts, the strength he had, the power he had in the Lord that made a difference. Again, probably all of us could say, I wish we had that kind of depth of spirituality that Paul had, because we've seen he's gone through one thing after another. He could have had a mental breakdown. There were times he did speak about some depression, but he got out of it, and all of it was grounded in his faith and the faith community of that early church, when you read a lot of Acts, who reach out and support him in the various communities he goes. And then we see in the gospel Jesus' prayer, again, at a time of great pain soon coming at the Last Supper. And he prays for the disciples, including praying for us for all time. He prays that we will be one. Not only one in each other, in common maybe agreement on some hot button issues like this, but also more important, one in Jesus as Jesus is one in us. We need to have, beginning with us, a deeper unity and centeredness in the Lord. And we recognize that. And Jesus prays for that. He prays even now. And again, that walk in faith that says, our Lord Jesus Christ doesn't want what's going on in our country and our world, so many ways going the opposite direction. He's praying for us. Are we listening? Do we believe he's really praying for us? And do we in our personal lives have that kind of prayer life that we're centered, that Paul saw a lot, the early disciples saw a lot of pain, death, violence, war, and somehow got through it, and the church grew almost in spite of it because of faith and faith community. So today, while we recognize there's complicated issues, but we also ourselves in our own prayer life and with others need to say, hey, among other things, what are we going to do? Or is there anything we can do, one by one, as in that early church, to have conversion of heart among all people, that somehow these issues can be better resolved because we are prayerful, we are centered, we are united, and especially in Jesus Christ. Again, no easy answer here, but the point for each of us at the very least, we need to be open to that ongoing conversion so we don't add to the violence, so we don't add to the disunity, so that we don't add to the differences of opinion where people become hostile and hate each other. That's certainly not what the gospel is all about. So taking a moment, Lord, where do I need conversion? And Lord, where I can appropriately speak out and say, hey, we need to look at this too, because this is the ultimate foundation. Quiet moment.